Hey folks, I did a video past couple of days on how to do edge banding on plywood. The last step in there was to flush trim the oak, the hardwood edge on this thing. And I used this particular portable router, battery operated router, and with a trim, a flush trim bit with a ball bearing, and this little device right here. And I kept going on and on about how great this device was, but after watching the video, I realized that this thing was pretty dangerous. It was still a little bit tippy. It wasn't as tippy as without this, but having to move this thing around and everything, it just would have been a lot better if I had done it inside the router table. Now, that's a trick because and the other thing was, I looked all over the place, all over the web for this thing, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Couldn't find it in any of my previous purchases, and I have no idea where they are now. It may be that they discontinued it because it was a dangerous tool for that purpose. And so I'm giving this up, and I'm going to use a different technique. I'm going to use, here's a flush trim router bit, and I'm going to build a fence and have it just stand up, and this will go past that router bit like that. And but I've got a fence started already. A number of years ago, I built a fence that I found the plans for by Van Dyke, whatever his name is, and Bob Van Dyke. That's it. Yeah, he's a good woodworker. It works at fine woodworking. And he built this fence, gave us the plans for that, and here is the fence that I built. Now, the interesting thing about this fence is it fits over the fence on the table saw like this. Well, actually, I had it turned around. So you see these clamps right here. Well, normally this goes against the side of the blade, and I built fixtures on it. There's 9 holes that you can screw things to it. And when I tighten up this this fence, it holds it fast on there. And it's a quick way to just throw something on there and screw some fixture to it and go to work. One of my favorite fixtures is called an L fence, and it allows you to cover up the blade, have a blade up underneath the L fence. By the way, the reason I cough so much is all this pollen coming off these trees and stuff like that. Gives me a fit every year. But anyway, that L fence works on here. So I decided, well, what can I do to build a taller fence and have it work with this trim bit right here? So here's what I came up with. I've had this particular fence I'm going to show you for a while, but I'm repurposing it. This was just a melamine panel, and I did cut some off. You can see where I cut off about a ½ inch of the edge of this thing, and I also drilled a little relief hole right here. But this fence will go on the fence, and I'll use the table saw fence on the router side. And so this will come off, turn around, and sit back on there. I'll clamp these 2 sides down to hold it tight. Now it's not going anywhere. I can bring this up close to the router, and I'll show you from the other side of this thing using these cameras right here. See is that from this camera visual right here, you can see that I can put this fence on here. Here are the 9 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holes. And here are the screws that I'll use to screw to that. And they're little T-nuts all the way around. You can see the 9 holes on there. But you see this little relief right here? This little relief is going to go over that router bit, and this is going to raise up to about that height. Because remember, the flush trim part of this thing is going to be a little wider than the piece of plywood, and so this needs to have enough of a reveal, enough of a gap at the bottom in order to be able to do that flush trim right there. And I think that's going to be a common thing when I build bookcases and things like that to need. And so this, I had rarely used this fence for anything, but I think it'll come in real handy for this purpose right here. So I'm going to get my screws out and start screwing this thing on. I'm going to be silent because I want this to go fast. So this will just be sped up like 4 times. Okay, that's all 9 screws holding this fence to the other, and it still slides on the table, but I'm going to bring this up to where it covers the flush trim router bit here, and I'll test it to make sure it's in the right spot. But all right, right now I need it to be exactly flush with this bearing over here. All right, I believe that's perfect. So what's going to happen now is that you see the fence is raised up. I cut off a section of this fence, and now you can see the flush trim part is going to be below this fence. So it'll be exposed to the bit. The top of the fence will just ride up against this fence, and it'll probably touch this ball bearing, but it won't be scraped by the router bit itself cutting. It won't cut into the plywood because the plywood is going to be running up against this fence. So that's a good thing. I'm going to pass this one down here, and I'm seeing if there's one of these that still needs a little bit of work. Maybe so, we'll see. But so anyway, I'm going to try it now. So this is how this is going to work. Once the edge banding is put on here, I'll be able to turn on this, let me turn on the dust collector. That's sucking through the cabinet down here. Now turn on the router. This goes up against here. Okay, I hope you saw how easy that was to just cut that right there. No tippiness. This was solid as it can be up against that fence right there. And it was nice and smooth. And you heard it cut away some additional parts of the thing. This is about twice as smooth as it was before, because there's, I mean, you can't tell that there's even an edge on there because it's so flush. That's actually a better bit than I had before, although the other one wasn't so bad, but this one has a compression bit to it where it's got 2 blades that are angled like this, and one pushes down this way, the other one pushes the grain up the other way, and they come together, and it makes for so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different blades on that bit right here. But this is how I would recommend doing flush trim with a router and not having to worry about the tippiness of a portable router on the edge of something right here. So the purchase is all up against this fence right here, and it's just so easy to do this. And so the only thing I needed to do was cut a little round hole in here,
and raise it up about half an inch. Yeah, about a half an inch, and screw it down. Did I put these? I didn't even tighten those screws right there. I guess I'd put those on first and forgot to tighten them. But anyway, it doesn't matter because I had it. There's 9 screws in here and it was held tight already. So I'm real proud of that. This is a very safe method to do a flush trim on the edge like that, and I like it. And by the way, if your shelf is going to be at least this wide, you can have edge banding on the bottom, on the back side as well, and be able to put it in from either direction because it's the right height for this size shelf right there. But anyway, I'm real proud of that, and the fact that I already had what I needed to do this without using that dangerous handheld tool like that and have it so tippy on there. That's why I was having trouble with it in that last part of the video. So this is the one you should do. I'm going to put a comment in the other video sending you here that this is the way you should do flush trim from now on, is build yourself a fence.
Hey folks, sorry about cutting that off so short. I was going to go on about building a fence. I decided you could do that yourself, and with no problem. You can mount one to your router table, fence, or whatever. So thanks. Talk to y'all later. Bye.